and welcome to Brilliant Minds, where we are brains, banter, and being human. I'm Andrea,
I'm Olivia.
and we are going to talk a little bit today about what this podcast is all about, why we're here, how we're going to do things, and then we're going to end with a little something random at the end, which is kind of hopefully how every podcast is going to go from here on out.
And I think easily that's going to be my favorite part, but you know.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So we might have something a little, maybe, I mean, obviously it's us, so it's probably not going to be serious, but a little more serious and a little silly all mixed together.
Yeah, a little bit of everything for sure.
So I guess, should we just jump right into this and start talking about like maybe your idea of why we're starting this and then kind of
Yeah.
get into it?
Yeah. I think like I want to hit in my mind the biggest reason for why we're doing this, which is everyone loves a white girl with a podcast. And I think that is the biggest reason why we're doing this, obviously.
Oh, for sure. I think, it's you scroll through Spotify and you're like, every little lifestyle woman on here. But
Yes.
but is that because maybe we like to hear ourselves talk, or do we feel like we have lots of good things to
No.
say? Or
No,
feminism?
Feminism, yeah, for sure that. I think at least what comes to my mind. So I'm not this like stereotypical person in the field. Like Andrea knows this about me, but you all might not know, which is I have not recovered from getting my master's and having to read a lot of books. I promise this is going somewhere. Promise this is going somewhere. I am not a book reader. I really tried to get back to it. I wish I was. So many people in the field are book readers. Like everyone's like, "Oh, do you have a book to recommend?" And like, "Oh, I need a book for this thing." And I just, oh, it's so hard for me. And when I really realized that for myself, I had to figure out, okay, how do I actually learn? How do I enjoy learning? Because I am a really naturally curious person and I love learning. But how do I actually do it? And I found that for me, I do it so much more in relationships and within context of people, which I think is part of why I really love what I do. But in a bigger sense, I think that's why this podcast is going to be a way in which I can learn from other people and other people can learn from me. It's like that relational learning that I love so much, that I connect with so much, and I want to develop because I think there's other people out there like me that learn in very different ways and enjoy listening and enjoy connecting and relating. And I think to me, like, that's one of my biggest reasons, actually, one of my biggest reasons is because, like, I've learned this about myself. Like, I don't learn traditionally. I, like, cannot be bothered. I will not read a book. I'm sorry. Like, I want to, but I cannot.
Yeah.
And so this podcast, I think, is one of those ways that I can continue being curious and learn and like foster that kind of connection.
Yeah, for sure. I think, I mean, I read, but I read for fun. But you have a really good point. Like, reading therapy books kind of sucks. Like, why would I want to read that? And also, I'm also the person that if my clients are reading books, I'm like, why are you reading that? Like, why are you reading that? Why are you getting into this? So I totally get that. I love what you're saying about the relational aspect. You and I both love being supervisors. And that's a topic we're going to talk about probably next week or next episode. But that relational piece, like getting to know someone, I think helps that learning process so much. Which for me, like this podcast is kind of, and it's not supervision. We know that. But I really thrived off of knowing other people like me or knowing that people had viewpoints like me. So it's a similar vein in that. But like, I wanted to know that there was a therapist out there that didn't go to CEU trainings every single weekend, like I said last time, right? And like, I wanted to know that therapists out there had other lives. And I think that that's part
Yeah.
of what I want to bring to this podcast too, is that we're not just therapists. We are more than that. And you can be more than that as a therapist too. Like you can bring some of your personality to your style or to your clients. without crossing weird boundaries or without, I don't know, getting in too deep about yourself or sharing too much.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought up the supervising piece because that was something that I was thinking about in terms of the podcast is we both love supervising so much. And in some ways I feel like doing the podcast is a little bit an extension of that supervision bug that we both have. And I can't speak for you, but the idea of helping people feel less alone and also getting them to think a little bit more deeply about the way in which they're approaching something and how they're connecting with other people is so lovely and fulfilling. And so I also see the podcast as like the extension of supervising as well, of like it's a little bit in that like educational modelly like vibe that we both really get into. So yeah, totally.
And for any of our people who are tuning in who aren't therapists and you're like, what does being a supervisor have to do with like teaching people? In our field, a supervisor is basically like a mentor. You're required by your state or by your country or whatever to work under a supervisor to maintain ethics and make sure that you're performing correctly until you get fully licensed. So it's like being a resident at a doctor, like to be a doctor. That's kind of what we are. We're teaching people and supporting people to get their license. And it's a teaching role. It's a mentorship role. It's a relationship that is really unique and special to our field and not something that I think other fields get.
Yeah. Yeah. But I also like your point too, which is that therapists can be so weird. And I think like, I should have done that when you were drinking. I apologize. Being able to find other therapists out there that are not afraid to say that they are a therapist publicly, but then still be human in themselves. I just don't think you find that much, right?
No, and I was doing podcast research for us around like,
right,
what do other therapist podcasts sound like and look like? They are so boring. And I like want to rip my hair out because I'm like, you are not exciting of a person. Like I want some fluctuation in your voice. I want to hear about you. I want to see your personality. Why are we so weird?
I know. I don't know. Because then I also think about it from a client perspective. Like, I want to know my therapist has a pulse. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure that they're not an actual potato. Like, I want some personality. Like, I'm not asking for a life story, but something. So it's like, not only do I think it's important for other therapists to like find people that they connect with and kind of examples or potential like models to follow, but also like for clients to have therapy be a little bit more normalized. It's like, we're humans too. Like, it's really okay. Therapy's not that scary. We're not that weird, although there are some weirdos out there. And it's like really okay.
Totally. I mean, I think they teach us, at least in therapy school, I'm not sure about what your program did, but that rapport is that number one key to helping someone heal, right? And I think in addition to that with clients, this is part of that, right? We're humans and we get to create human connections by doing this podcast and sharing our quirks in a different way instead of, oh, I'm a therapist, I'm buttoned up and I wear a scarf and a sweater or a chunky necklace. Like, we are not the stereotype, and I am all about breaking the mold of the stereotype. Like, somebody might look at me and be like, oh, you're the typical blonde girl, you must be this, this, and this, and I'm like, no, you don't know me. Know me. I can lift 300 pounds and photograph the most beautiful wedding all in one day and, blow your mind a little bit.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like that's something that we relate on. Surprise, we get along. But I love bending people's expectations that they have of me or their assumptions that they make, because I think most people that would meet me off the bat would never expect that I'm a social worker, a therapist, right? That I've been in the field for a while, or really like guess many of the other things that I like and that I'm into, like baking and gaming and smashing the patriarchy and, all those fun things. And so, yeah, I love changing people's minds. I love being able to shift somebody's mindset. It's so fun. And I just find I do that so much more from like a person to person basis instead of any of these like big scale things. But I also get as you know, a lot of comments about how I look like I'm 12. So that's the other piece, is that I think a lot of people don't like assume what I do just based off of how I look too, of like, oh, you look so young.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's also so interesting because like as some of you will get to know me, you know that I'm also a photographer, and one of my niche areas in photography is headshots for therapists. So I meet and I get to look physically at so many therapists, and it's so interesting to be like somebody walks up to me for their headshots. I'm like, you're a therapist?" But then I have to like be like, "Oh, maybe people will think about that about me," and that's kind of fun. I used to have this goal of making every headshot in the greater Seattle area be taken by me.
it could still be a goal. Are you saying it's not a goal anymore?
You know, we're kind of on the way. I did 16 of them in the last 2 weeks, so, you know.
Get it, girl.
But it is like our picture, the way that we look is worth a million words or whatever that saying is. But also, I think being human in that makes people want to talk to us more, right? And
Right. Yeah.
this is that extension of we're more than just a therapist, and we're also a great therapist, and we're more than, you know, what people think we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think too, like the things that we've talked about wanting to cover in the podcast are, I mean, it's going to be a blend ultimately of a lot of things, but I think what we've talked about is talking about different things that are going on in the field, things that are coming up for us with our clients, you know, in supervision, talking about things in just a lot more of a relational, connected way, but then also making a lot of space to just be weird and random and silly and like do all the bits in between too, because
Right.
we are whole people. Like, yes, we want to talk about things that are going on in the field, our opinions, our thoughts, and also like maybe we're just going to talk about our hyperfixation food and the thing we make every day for lunch
Yeah.
for weeks on end, right? Like, and that
Yeah.
there can be a space for all of it.
Yeah. And I think as you're saying that too, another thing that comes to mind is that we're not going to be jargony in here. We're not going to
Oh,
be,
yeah.
neither of us are the type of therapist that use like therapy language like on a regular basis, or even, I mean, I can't speak for you, but I don't even really use therapy language with my clients. Sometimes my clients will say stuff and I'll be like, I think I know what that means, but I've heard that in
Yeah.
school.
I think this would be a really good time for my like personal and professional confession.
Yes.
Okay. Anytime someone uses the words transference and countertransference, my brain can never figure out which one is which, and I get confused every single time. And it's the most, like, it's one of the most common words in
Yeah.
our field, don't you think? Like,
It totally is.
it's so common. Like, people use it all of the time. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, there's just like a lot of transference happening. And then I'm like, my brain is buffering. I'm like, loading. Just use
Yeah.
projection. Projection makes sense. Transference does not. Like,
Right.
every time it does not click in my brain. I just had to
Right.
get that off my chest because I agree with
No.
you. These words don't make any sense to me.
That's so fair. I think about that. That's such a good professional confession, because I almost see it as like, this is mine for photography, so it's not really related, but I can't tell my lefts and rights. And every single time I say
I was
that,
literally going to compare it to that. That's so
Yes.
funny that you said that. Okay.
yeah. So like, and every time I say that to a photography client, they're like, "Oh, well, just do the L thing with your hands," and I'm like, they both look like L's to me. Like, well, that's not helping me. You know, transference, countertransference. That's not going to help me. I don't know, but like, I know logically what they mean, but which one is which? It's so fair.
Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think the thing that I'm going to love, selfishly so, about doing a podcast is that it kind of feeds my love for over explaining something and like talking something to death.
Oh yes. Is that an ADHD thing? Is this a hyperfixation thing? What do you think?
I don't know. I feel like, because it's not everything. There's plenty of things that I
Right.
do not verbally process at all. Like, truly. But the things that I do want to process verbally, I want to process them.
Yeah.
It's so true. I feel like it's that phenomenon of we really want to feel understood. And so as part of the processing, we're also trying to help the other person understand where we're coming from. So we tend to like over explain, provide too much context, and just like talk something to death.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, my form of that is when someone tells me a story, I have to tell like my own story as a way to connect with that. And it's not necessarily explaining, but it's almost my way of being like, oh, I'm validating you because I know what that's like. And like, I just want to talk about this whole feeling and this experience over and over and over, and let's keep going.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Also, again, from a selfish perspective, doing a podcast with you means I get to spend more time with you. And that's like never been a bad thing.
No, never.
So, like, yeah, why wouldn't I want to do that?
Right. I have never once felt like I could or ever will be tired of you.
That's probably like one of the best compliments I've ever gotten. That's so sweet.
Well, if I sit back and think about it, and I think about the times that we've spent together, like, yeah, I think we have moments where we just kind of sit quietly and just like be in each other's presence. Sit quietly meaning like for 10 seconds, you guys. Like,
okay, yeah, I was like, I don't think I've sat quietly in my life.
Yeah. But we don't necessarily like nonstop talk, but we do nonstop talk, if that makes sense. Like I could totally feel comfortable just sitting in your presence, and like
Right.
whether we're baking and I'm on my phone, or if we're listening to music or playing games or whatever, like we don't have to be talking, but it's amazing to just be with one another in that.
Yeah, yeah. If only we could record the podcast in the same place. But that's okay.
You know what? I come back up there all the time. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah,
We'll
I'll
have
have
to
to
set
think
it up
about
in
that
the-
sometime.
We'll have to rent a podcast space once in a while, and
Oh, be super fancy. Very
I know,
fun.
Look at us. Look at us.
Why not?
Okay, I've been holding this in all week.
Ooh. Okay.
It's not really like a confession, but more of like my most recent hyperfixation, and I
All right.
cannot get it out of my head, and I do not know where it came from. You ready for it?
Yes.
Na 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 Batman.
That's okay.
Yep,
I'm gonna ask a follow-up question.
fine.
On average, how many times is that playing in your head a day?
I don't know if I can count.
Ooh, that's fun. That's what I would have guessed.
Cause, I mean, my husband
Yeah.
came home the other night, and he had been gone all day, so I wrapped him up in a hug, and I was like wiggling, and I was like, no, 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 Batman. And then he went and laid on the bed, and I jumped on the bed, and I was like, no, 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 no. I don't know where it came from. And it's like every time I'm doing something, like walking to the car, no, 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 no. And even it's just the na-na-na-nas, too. I don't even have to say the Batman part.
But I feel like the Batman is the most important part.
Well, I was going to say that's the climax. So if I'm walking to the car, I'm like, walking, na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, shut the door, Batman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it has to be the end of the...
It's the finisher.
Correct. Yeah. So that's what's been in my head all week, and I have not been able to think about anything other than that because I've really just wanted to bring it here and tell you, and then it made it even more so a hyperfixation. So...
Okay, so I think this is going to be the real trick for the podcast is whenever we have some like random rabbit traily thing we want to break off to in the end, it's going to be hard for us to keep it from the other person outside of the podcast because we talk like all the time, right? We're talking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have also been holding this in. This is totally random. It's not a sound. It's not like anything.
Okay.
I've come up with a term, and I think it's really important, and I want it to take off. So I'm going to start.
Okay.
I have found that there's a vast majority of people that are neurodivergent that really love thrifting. Okay, no.
Okay.
Go with me on this. Okay.
I'm so on track.
Neurodivergent people love a good thrift. Okay, I've thought about this because I also love thrifting. I don't always have the time for it, but I do love it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about like, why is it so appealing to go thrifting? And I think there are some aspects of like, it feels a little bit more, reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Like it feels a little bit more conscientious. Great. I think the other piece is it's like the mystery, the curiosity, the ambiguity of like you don't know what you're gonna find. And you also don't ever go in with, I really need, I don't know, overalls. You don't go into a thrift being like, I need a specific thing. You go into a thrift store with the most open mind a person could ever have because you need to be open to the gifts that it can give you.
Right.
But it's also like a scavenger hunt. Like you have to like go through every single little thing. But then when you find something and then that thing is cheap and you never knew you needed it, it's amazing. That dopamine hit from finding a thing at a thrift store hits different. And so that is why I've decided we need to call it green gambling.
Why green?
Because it's like...
Oh, green! Green! Okay. Yeah. Oh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah. It's kind of like a version of gambling. Honestly, like going thrift shopping is a version of gambling. But it's like healthier.
Yeah.
And like better. And it's not, it's not like addictive.
True.
So it's green gambling.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, it is true. Like, I really like mystery boxes. If anybody's clicked on our website and looked at my like list of guilty pleasures, watching unboxing videos on YouTube is on there, which sounds so silly, but it's because like it's similar to that where even the YouTuber doesn't know what's in this box and they open it and it's like maybe the lamest thing ever, but they're so excited about it because it's a mystery. And I used to get those, like, I did like a wine subscription box and I never knew what kind of wine was coming. And I did like a FabFitFun box once, and I did like a hiker's box once. And just because it's so exciting to open it and be like, I don't know what's in here, what's going to be in here, even if I'm going to throw it away. Like,
that's so funny because I would not like that kind of thing at all. Because I'd be like, well, I don't want to pay money for something I don't like. So what if I don't like it?
That's fair.
That's fair.
I mean? Yeah.
Which is why I like thrifting, because you can decide if you want that thing.
It's right? A little bit more controlled of a surprise.
Right. It's a little bit more controlled. Like you're surprised if you find it and you know you want it and then you choose to spend the money on it. But then if you like don't like it, you don't lose any money in the game, right?
That's fair. I like that perspective.
Yeah, unboxing. No. I like, those oddly satisfying videos, there's like so many different versions out there. One of the ones that I found I really like, it's so random, is where they like mix the two colors and you have to guess what color it's going to come out as.
Yes. Where they're like, they use the little spatula thing and they're like,
yeah,
I feel so good.
Yeah, the little like clickety click sounds. What? Who would have ever guessed that would be satisfying? Not me.
No, not until somebody decided.
Yeah. So you can take your unboxing videos. You can have them. I'm going to take my paint mixing. Thank you very much.
I love it. And then all together, green gambling, we're going to make this a thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I really feel strongly about that. I mean, like, I want to hear from other neurodivergent people because there's a lot of people I know, especially like in this area, the Pacific Northwest, that are into thrifting. Like,
yeah,
it has its own little bit of culture here. And I don't know, when I go to Goodwill, I see some like-minded people there. So I just have this feeling.
There is a vibe.
It's a thing. It's a total thing.
Yeah, I like it. Well, maybe I'll post it on the Instagram as a poll and see what people think.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I love a good alliteration. I was trying to think about all different kinds of words I could put with gambling, like good gambling. I was trying to think of like, okay, how can I turn the word gambling to be a little bit different?
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. That's great.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. Well, thanks for coming along for the ride, y'all. Like, as you can see, it's going to be fun and random and like everything in between.
Exactly. We're gonna take you along for a little bit of serious, a little bit of silly, whatever rabbit trail goes along between the two or outside of the two, or all the things.
Or the 20 rabbit trails.
I was trying to be nice to us. All right, goodness. You all. Again, follow, like, subscribe, do all the things to help us succeed in this hilarious podcast. And we'll see you all in our next episode.
Yeah, bye, y'all.
Bye.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal, health, tax, or professional advice. Always consult a licensed professional for specific advice related to your situation.
And just a quick note to all you listeners. Yes, we're real therapists, but please remember this podcast isn't therapy. We're here to share ideas, have some laughs, and maybe make you think. Just maybe. But being a listener doesn't replace therapy. If you need mental health support, please see a licensed professional in your area. And if you're in crisis, call or text 988 SOS.